As well as featuring some top property, we're also going to be giving our advice about making that move to the countryside.
Now, today's destination is a pastoral delight. So find out which county we're heading to in just a moment.
Today I'm helping a couple who are keen to leave their city home of 27 years, and they're intrigued by our properties.
It's very interesting.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
And I've found a fantastic selection of properties to tempt my buyers, but there's one word we need to avoid.
I'm not going to say nice. This is one of the nicest rooms in the house, actually.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't going to say the nice word, was I?
Today we are off on a house hunting mission to Herefordshire.
Indeed.
And for me, all my memories of that county revolve around the beautiful, sinuous River Wye and its amazing wooded valley.
Well, I have to put my hands up here and declare an interest because I loved Herefordshire so much, it's now become my new home.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So take it from me, as a county, there is plenty to recommend it.
Situated in the West Midlands, landlocked Herefordshire borders the counties of Shropshire, Worcestershire and Gloucestershire, with Wales to the west.
The landscape is mainly rural, and agriculture plays a key role in the local economy. The rich fertile soil is excellent for fruit growing, and apple orchards are a common feature across the county.
The county capital, the city of Hereford, is dominated by its cathedral, and the pretty streets are lined with striking black and white houses.
With the River Wye meandering its way through scenic, unspoilt countryside, Herefordshire is arguably one of the most peaceful counties in Britain.
Jules, as a newly minted resident of Herefordshire, you can tell us what's so good about it.
I've always loved it, and I love that history that goes with the borders. The landscape, the architecture, and of course it represents really good value for money.
Indeed. And it's also, I read, one of the most sparsely populated counties in the country.
It is, which means of course you get lots of space and some gorgeous landscapes. One of my new neighbours said the thing she loved about Herefordshire was that wherever you looked there was always a view, and I have to agree.
And quite reasonably priced. I think the average price for a detached house is $260,000. That's pretty much on a par with the national average.
It rates very well, particularly when you compare it to the neighbouring Cotswolds, where the prices are astronomical.
So who are you showing around the county?
Well, I had a very crafty couple, you might say, who were determined that space should really define their new life in Herefordshire.
And my buyers were college sweethearts who were desperate to leave the hubbub of suburbia for the calm of the countryside. John and Joy live in this 4-bedroom house in Bourneville, a suburb of Birmingham. But with Joy now retired and university professor John about to follow suit, it's time for a change.
Other members of our family have already moved into the country. We're probably the only people left who live in a city. So we just want to move out, do something different, and feel that it's a new part of our lives to start again.
For the past 27 years, they've lived in the Birmingham home where they brought up their 3 children. But 3 years ago, tragedy hit the family when John and Joy's daughter, Vanessa, died unexpectedly. So leaving the family home behind with all its memories will be hard, even though they're drawn to the countryside.
When we go on holidays, trips, we just love the serenity and the tranquility of the countryside, and you just feel you're in a different space.
And with work no longer tying the couple to Birmingham, they're looking forward to spending more time with the family.
It will reduce our journey to see our son and grandchildren by approximately an hour, which will enable us actually to go and see them for the day.
John and Joy already have an offer on their home and know how much money they've got to play with.
The budget for the move is £400,000 max.
Although we're starting our property search in Herefordshire, John and Joy are open to living in the surrounding counties, as long as they're close to their son and grandchildren in Cardiff. I've come to meet them on Herefordshire soil to find out more about their ideal home. Welcome to Herefordshire.
Thank you.
Lovely weather we have, very nice setting. But we are going to go off on an odyssey, so are you ready to see some properties?
We
Definitely.
certainly are.
Very exciting.
Thinking about the house, what is it that you're looking for in terms of the property itself?
Well, we want somewhere that has character, but by that we don't necessarily mean the oldest house. It could be modern but still have character.
How much space do you need for sort of people to come and stay, realistically?
I think we probably do need 2 rooms for my oldest son's family and 1 room for my younger son at Christmas, particularly. So that would be 4 bedrooms in all.
What are you looking for in your kitchen?
Well, size, definitely. That's important. A fantastic view would be an extra bonus, a big bonus.
So let's talk briefly about the garden. What sort of garden would you like?
Well, I think I quite like wildish gardens. I like gardens that look after themselves a little bit, but I don't mind riding one of those little mini mowers.
Everybody likes a mini mower.
They're such fun, aren't they?
That's the whole point of moving to the countryside,
Exactly.
is to get one. How good are you at sort of making decisions? Is it a sort of impulsive thing, or do you sort of use your head rather than your heart?
We know what we want, obviously,
Yes.
but the heart has to follow very
Yes.
much so. And I think that feeling of passion about somewhere.
Well, we've got 3 lovely properties lined up for you, and I hope that I hope that you like them all. But do feel free to tell us what you like and what you don't like.
Okay.
So let's get started. For a maximum budget of £400,000, John and Joy want a house with character, but don't mind whether it's old or new. It must have 4 bedrooms to accommodate visiting family, a spacious kitchen, and a garden with a view of the surrounding countryside. Location is also important, as this move is about being closer to their grandchildren in South Wales. I'm hoping our buyers will be pleased with the selection of properties I'm going to show them, and I'll be revealing the all-important price tag at the end of each house tour. And our mystery house will offer John and Joy the chance of a different life to the one they've planned. For our first property, we're heading to Great Brampton Park, which is about 7 miles from Hereford. A mile down the road, surrounded by Herefordshire countryside, is our first house. Okay, so it's a little disorientating because clearly not all of this is up for sale. And this is slightly different from what you asked for, but we couldn't resist showing you this property because it's a beautiful, beautiful home. But as you can see, it is part of a complex.
Yeah.
So this used to be a cider farm, built probably around the late 19th century, 1870s, and converted 10 years ago. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I like the idea in many ways because they're all fairly individual.
Yeah, and it gives a sense of a community,
Yeah.
which is never a bad thing.
Yeah.
So it's certainly not a
Yes.
deal breaker by any means.
I mean, we might need to interview the neighbours.
One by one. John and Joy seem open to the idea of living within a community, and this long barn conversion is one of 13 properties on the site. So come in and have a look at the kitchen with its very fine rafters.
They
yes.
look quite old, don't they?
Yes, it's a bit of sort of agricultural archaeology, though you don't have to dig much.
Perfect.
That's true. Nice tall ceilings.
Yeah.
And then come in here, I think this is a lovely, well, this is sort of heart of the home, really.
Oh, I like this.
I love the floor.
The floor and just the whole feel.
Yes.
Yes.
And what about the space? I mean,
The space is good. The space is very good, actually. I mean, you could easily get our family into here with no problem at all.
Okay, well, let's go and look at the sleeping quarters. So far, so good. And the ground floor living area also features a utility room and a family bathroom off the kitchen. There are 4 bedrooms in the property, 3 are on the ground floor. Of those, 2 are doubles and there's 1 single. But there's also a double bedroom upstairs with its own adjacent bathroom. Perfect suite for guests. Let's hope the positivity continues in the master bedroom, which is on the ground floor.
I think this is not much bigger than our bedroom at home, and one of the things I rather like the idea of is increasing the size of our bed.
You snuck that in because you didn't mention that before. Well, it's an interesting property because obviously most of them are all on one level.
Yeah.
This one does have an ensuite shower room, very nice.
Oh, well, that is a plus.
Okay, well, let's go outside and let's talk about the price because then you can
Okay.
explore it properly.
Okay.
Thank you.
I fear we may have hit a wall with the size of the master bedroom, but there's still the garden to see. It's all at the front of the property and includes this sunny patio seating area. But will it be up to size?
Compact.
Compact. Is that code for not big enough?
I think, to be honest, it is. I have to be honest.
And not simply not big enough, we do not have the views.
Yes.
That's for sure.
That's true.
And possibly we don't even have the privacy from the other properties.
No. Well, it is all just much more communal than private. What do you think it's on the market for?
I would say about £320,000.
I would say close, 330.
330. Well, you are both in the right ballpark, but it's actually a little bit more expensive. It's on the market for 350.
Okay.
Under budget at £350,000, our first house is a converted barn, which was once part of a working cider farm. Renovated 10 years ago, it retains much of the fabric of the original building. The accommodation features a kitchen, breakfast room, and a spacious living room with vaulted ceiling. There are 4 bedrooms in total, including an upstairs guest bedroom with an ensuite. And as one of a number of properties on the former farm complex, you're living amongst a friendly community. It's ingenious what the owners have done with the space up there, but I think it's going to be too cramped for John and Joy because it's already feeling a bit squeezy here. Right, guys?
Yes, all done.
Very good. So pull the door. Let's head to property 2.
Right.
Excellent.
Herefordshire is perhaps best known as a food-producing region, famous for its apple orchards and beef. Its rich and fertile soils also make it a popular location for growing soft fruits. 30% of the UK's black currants are grown in the county. The vast majority is sold on to make a well-known British cordial. But in these tough economic times, Herefordshire farmers are diversifying, and some are using the black currant to make something a little more potent. I've come to meet one of those entrepreneurs, Joe Hilditch.
Welcome.
Hello. So this is your family blackcurrant farm?
Yeah,
How long has it been in the family?
4 generations.
Ah, it's quite an impressive field. Is this the only one, or do you have more?
No, this is about 25 acres and we've got about 125 acres. The soil suits it, the weather suits it, and the way the land lies, the frost runs away down the hills.
So how many tons of currants do you produce?
Depending on the season, something between 300 and 350 tonnes. We do keep a bit back for ourselves because we've diversified into making our own cassis.
Cassis originates from France, where the black currant liqueur is mixed with wine to make the cocktail Kir, or champagne to make Kir Royale. Jo first came up with the idea of producing it herself after trying the drink when she was 18 on a French exchange programme.
So this is the bottling room.
Oh, it's very petite. Hello.
And this is James, the juice master, James Moss.
So James, what's the process? I mean, what's the sort of, how do you make it from the...
Well, once we got the juice back from the press, we just ferment it with a champagne yeast and British sugar. That's it. Use a champagne yeast because you get a higher alcohol yield over a time.
Before being bottled, the juice stays in the barrels for up to 6 months until it reaches an alcohol level similar to wine. And then it's ready to taste. Well, here's to your alcoholic fruit empire.
That's nice.
It is nice, isn't it? It's good to see that diversification here, at least, is paying off. But now let's get back to John and Joy's house hunt. For our second property, we're crossing the border into Gloucestershire and venturing 25 miles southeast to the village of Ruadine Woodside, which is on the edge of the Forest of Dean. This is the property I want to show you.
Interesting.
You
Wow.
seem taken aback.
Yes.
What are your thoughts from the outside?
I love the stone and the rocks and all the higgledy-piggledy sizes.
Yep.
It's absolutely gorgeous, isn't
It's
it? from
holding
that
a lot
point
of
view?
promise at this
Let's
stage.
see if the promise is fulfilled inside.
Well,
Built in the mid-19th century, our second property was at one time a schoolhouse, then a chapel, which fell into dereliction before the present owners converted it. Come on in.
Oh, this is lovely.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yes.
That's got a good feel. Very good feel.
Yes, it has.
Describe the feeling. What are you feeling?
Warm and fuzzy
Yes.
in the moments.
Yes, it's got lovely views from the windows. We'll see what comes next.
Come into the kitchen.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's got a cottagey feel, but modern-ish at the same time.
So you've got all the handmade, bespoke oak cupboards, and this is all local oak.
It's very interesting.
You said that word a lot. What does the word interesting mean for you two?
It means I haven't quite made up my mind.
Oh, well, good.
I'd love to see a bit more.
No, I'm afraid not. Come with me. This is all the new bit. This is the extension. Sort of garden room or a sitting room.
Yes.
And that sort of entrance into the garden. You know,
It's
you almost
lovely
feel
with the
your
trees
part.
behind,
Yes,
isn't
of
it?
it.
Yes.
Good. Well, so far not a grumble. Let's see what you think of upstairs. Upstairs there are 3 bedrooms, one less than our previous property, but they're all big enough for double beds. And there's a good-sized family bathroom. So come into the master bedroom.
Oh, this is lovely. Very spacious. The windows strike you straight away and are very pretty indeed.
And size is good as well.
Yes.
Yes, it feels spacious, doesn't
Yes. Yes.
And you've got this very nice little sort of walk-in
it? Oh yes.
wardrobe.
Oh, yes.
And if you have a look in the bathroom, I don't often show people the bathrooms, but this is a particularly good one.
Ah.
Oh, this is a lovely bathroom, isn't it? Look at this shower.
Oh, now yes.
Yes.
That's what you're after, isn't it?
Well, this is much more the idea I had in mind.
The drawback with this property is that it only has 3 bedrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
But let's have a look outside in the garden. As well as a double garage, the grounds include this large landscape terrace garden set into the hillside with a patio area with more flagstones, a vegetable patch and a pond. What are your first impressions coming out into the fresh air?
I think the house looks really sweet from this angle, actually.
I mean, sometimes with extension, it looks like an add-on, a stick-on, but that is really working, isn't it?
Yes.
I think this garden has a real wow factor. You know, if you
It
brought
has.
people here, they'd be like, wow.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
agree with that.
And how much would you think it all costs?
I would say probably about 360,000.
I was going higher, 385.
Okay, well, the truth is a little in between.
Ah.
It's on the market just a shade under 380.
There we are. Both quite close.
On the market for just shy of £380,000, our second offering is still under John and Joy's top budget. It's a converted 19th century former schoolhouse, then chapel, retaining many of the original features, including stained glass windows. There's a large dining room and separate kitchen, and it has 3 double bedrooms. The rear garden is large and landscaped, with views of the surrounding countryside. Anyway, that's our houses for the day. Let's go and rest and regroup.
Good idea.
So, after singing the praises of Herefordshire, you skipped over the border into Gloucestershire.
Yes, well, it is a county that has a lot of the same appeal. Still, we do have the Mystery House to come.
Indeed, we shall catch up with the story there a little bit later, but in the meantime, let's now meet our second couple who themselves are hoping to engineer a move to the countryside. Steve and Yvonne currently own this 4-bedroom house in Wheatley on the outskirts of the city of Oxford. Their desire to live in a more rural setting has been on the cards for a while.
Just under 10 years ago I retired, and the master plan was to spend 2 years around the country on a narrowboat that I just bought, but that never came to fruition.
The move was put on hold as Yvonne gave up her teaching job to become a full-time carer for her elderly father. Sadly, he died this year. Leaving their home will be emotional, but they feel it's time for a change of scene.
What I won't miss, I suppose, is the closeness of everything and the noise and the traffic. I hanker for wider spaces.
And having that space around them is probably a good thing, as Steve has some particularly noisy hobbies.
I've always tinkered about playing guitar, and one of the things that I always said I'd like to do when I retired was to learn to play the drums, and I'm just looking forward to going somewhere where I can start to learn and bash away.
And when he's not hammering the drums, he's keen to work on the new house, having completely renovated their current home.
I have a go at most things, you know, brickwork, plastering, plumbing. I've done a lot of woodwork and also built some bespoke sheds for myself and Yvonne.
Fortunately, Yvonne prefers quieter pursuits.
I spend a lot of my spare time in the craft studio that Steve built for me, although I call it a shed, but it's posher than a shed. I do crochet, I do needlework, I do artwork. I also love my gardening. I go veggies as well. And then when I'm not doing that, I go swimming. So I'm a busy girl, really.
All that's left is to find out how much money they've set aside for this move to rural Herefordshire.
The budget for the move, well, between £600,000 and £700,000, although if we find the right property, we could push ourselves to £750,000.
Steve and Yvonne aren't fussy about a specific location in Herefordshire, but want lots of space around them, so for a change, we have a free rein with our property search. I'm meeting them to go over the details of what they want from their country relocation.
Welcome to Herefordshire.
Thank you.
So just paint us a picture then, Yvonne, of what this new life is going to comprise.
Peace, quiet, just time to spend to do the things that I want to do.
I mean, I know you're an engineer, Steve, and I know that you've done quite a bit of work on previous properties that you've owned. How involved are you intending to get with this new building, whatever it's going to be?
Well, if you got the right place in the right location, if it's done and finished and shiny to move in, then that's fine. And obviously that will reflect the budget variation.
Yeah.
If it was a raw barn that wanted fitting out, but was the right place in the right location, then I'd take that on as well.
So, the specification of this property, Yvonne?
Like everybody, I'd like a spacious kitchen. I love open plan. I'd like more accommodation downstairs than upstairs. Outbuildings, I love outbuildings.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah, so that I can do painting and flap about in it and make mess without having to tidy it up, just leave it.
Now, you've said more space downstairs than upstairs. How many bedrooms do we need?
3's okay, but 4 would be fine, you know.
So just remind us of the budget for this move.
Well, we said sort of 600,000 to 700,000, but then if the right place came along, then we'd push to 750.
The property market in this part of the world is absolutely superb, and you've got a budget to match.
Excellent.
Okay, that's good.
Come on
Good
then, follow
news.
me.
Okay.
Excellent.
For a maximum budget of £750,000, Steve and Yvonne want a house with space around them and far-reaching views. In terms of layout, they prefer open plan accommodation and favour the downstairs space over the bedrooms, although they would like at least 3 of those. Yvonne would like a large kitchen and an outbuilding for her art. For our first property, we're heading to the village of Kernbridge in the south of the county. And the house we're showing them is nestled into the hillside on the edge of an area of outstanding natural beauty.
So, there is property number 1. Right. But you did say location was everything, and that view,
Yeah, stunning.
I think, really kind of makes this property.
Yeah.
That certainly is a view, Jules.
So what do you think, Yvonne?
I think the views are stunning. Absolutely stunning. Yeah.
But what about our property?
Well, I'll wait to see. Wait to see.
The outside looks promising. I'm eager to see the inside.
But in terms of setting,
yeah, no,
sure. I mean,
yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
speaks for itself.
Yeah,
the settings.
let's have a look.
It's a thumbs up for the location, but let's hope that this 19th century building, which has been extended over the years, continues to deliver once we get inside. We're accessing it via the conservatory.
Right, we're going to start with the principal living room, which is this one.
Yes, it's. I'm not going to say nice.
You can do. Nice is legitimate.
It's. Yeah, it's oldie looking, isn't it? It's in keeping. It has mega views.
Well, that's what it's all about.
Mega views.
Yeah.
Mega
Aspect,
views.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Through that door over there is a little study area
Right.
and the boiler room. And of course you've got the great big fireplace as well.
Yeah, which you could put a log burner in there.
Well, let's see what you think about the dining room. That's through here. Follow me up the steps and through the hallway. And then this is the dining end, which also goes out into the conservatory, of course, which we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Right, yes.
I don't know, something was worrying me about your reactions to this one.
I'm not moved at the moment.
You're not moved?
Can't fault that view.
No, I mean, the views are excellent.
But it's got to be a little bit more than just a view.
Let's keep going. Let's see if we can find a bit more for you.
Okay.
Come and look at the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted something a bit bigger than this.
Yes. Yes.
Probably a bit more open planned as well for you,
Yeah.
although obviously
I'm
this-
finding it a little bit boxy.
One of the issues we sort of face with your very generous budget in this part of the world, we could find you something absolutely enormous and arguably too big.
Yeah,
so we've tried to strike a balance with our first property.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Just to complete the picture in here, you've got a little utility room through there, which is very handy, and another door out to the front. But that's pretty much the principal areas downstairs.
Yeah.
Let's go up.
Okay.
I'm crossing everything. Maybe we can find a wow. You never know.
Right.
Not the best of starts with the downstairs tour of our first house. I fear it's just not grabbing Steve and Yvonne. Perhaps we can do better upstairs, where there are 4 bedrooms, all of which are good-sized doubles. One of those offers a large ensuite and could make a good master, but I have another bedroom in mind for our buyers.
So this, we're thinking, would make a very nice master.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is a good size, and it's got a nice feel, this room.
It's cosy.
Yeah.
It may not be the biggest room up here, and of course it doesn't have the ensuite that exists down the corridor.
No.
But with the little box room next door,
You could knock through.
that's what we're thinking.
Yeah. This is one of the nicest rooms in the house,
Yes,
actually.
a lovely feel.
So we didn't get a wow, but we did get a nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I wasn't going to say the nice word, was I?
I think it deserves it.
Because lying in bed and looking at those views must be fabulous. But the downstairs doesn't do justice to it at all.
Well, one other factor on your wish list are, of course, outbuildings.
Yep.
Let's go and have a look at those, and we'll talk about the price, because that will be interesting to gauge where we're at with this one. Follow me.
The gardens include a planted rockery, shrubs and lawned areas with stunning views over the Wye Valley. There's a large double garage with a generous office space at the back, as well as 2 further outbuildings. One could make an excellent workshop or craft room, and there's an additional one for storage. There's also a swimming pool, which should keep Yvonne happy.
Now, some buyers, of course, insist on a pool.
Yeah.
You've got one as a bonus. Now we're going to talk about the price on this one.
I'm certainly going to go in on the low side, and that is going to be about 575.
575?
That's even under the lower part of, I know what budget we set.
Yeah.
I'd say 585, just fractionally more.
585.
But I'm just saying that to play devil's advocate, really.
Well, you know, it is all in the eye of the beholder, and that's you two on this occasion. This is on the market for offers in excess of 635.
Is it?
Not too far.
Priced at offers over £635,000, our first property is well within budget with money to spare to make adjustments. It's a 19th century home situated on a hillside overlooking the River Wye. The downstairs accommodation includes a large living room and kitchen and breakfast room. All of the 4 bedrooms are of a good size. The outside space includes 2 outbuildings, and from the garden there are stunning views of the surrounding countryside.
Right, out you come. Grab the door, Steve.
Uh-huh.
Something tells me you're not going to be opening that again.
No.
I don't think so, no.
Well, tough sell, I suppose, in some respects, if it's got this issue with levels and the space, but I'm confident property number 2 is going to be more what you're looking for.
Good. It will be.
Crossing everything.
Let's be positive.
On Escape to the Country, we get to show buyers around all manner of different houses, some of which are historically and architecturally important enough to have listed building status. But what does that mean when it comes to buying and renovating one of the hundreds of thousands of listed buildings? Herefordshire has around 6,000 examples, and I've come to one of them, Wellbrook Manor, to meet Laura Norris of the Vivat Trust, a charity which specialises in restoring listed properties and turning them into exclusive holiday lets to pay for the work.
And this is Wellbrook Manor.
This is Wellbrook Manor. Isn't she beautiful?
Absolutely stunning. Now, what grade of listing is Wellbrook?
Wellbrook is a grade 1.
Is it?
Grade 1 listed.
So that's as high as it gets.
Exactly. The same as Buckingham Palace.
But what is it about this building that makes it so special?
Number 1, it's from 1340. So that's kind of a bit of a marker. It's a medieval hall house that sits on the border of England and Wales. It's very unusual. And you don't really see that outside. What you see is a lovely building. Inside, it tells a different story.
Come on then, give me the tour, Laura.
All right then.
Wellbrook Manor was altered in the late 16th century and restored in the 1920s. Laura's charity is in the process of correcting the previous restoration work that, at the time, was considered good building practice. The first stage was to remove a cement pebble-render applied a century ago to keep the moisture out, that has revealed the original medieval timbers and now allows the building to breathe again. The work will now move to the inside of the house, where the manor is slowly revealing its secrets.
Tell us how this building has evolved and what you've learnt about it.
Well, Jules, see that ceiling?
Yes.
In 1340, that's not there. A vandal in the 1700s came and put that ceiling in. So this should be a double height space, and it should have another wing running down the side where the lawn is, and that would have been the service wing.
Now, going back to the fact that it's listed and that it's at the top of the listing scale,
Yeah.
are there any compromises that you've had to make in terms of the repair and conservation of this building?
Actually, no, because what we've done is we've listened to the building and dealt with it appropriately for its listing. That said, not as many people are as fortunate as we are. We're not going to use it as a permanent residence. It will be holiday lets, so you don't need as much storage. You don't need as much clutter space. You need something that's beautiful.
It's quite a holiday let.
The older a building is, the more likely it is to be listed. Grade 1 buildings are of exceptional interest, often considered to be internationally important, but the vast majority, around 92%, are Grade 2. Whatever the grade, listing doesn't mean you can't change anything. It simply means that consent is required to make any alterations to the building which might affect its special interest. Anyone can suggest a building for listing to English Heritage, although the decision on whether to list rests with the government. One of the reasons this building is listed is its impressive medieval timber-framed roof.
I mean, going back to the date of this, 1340,
Yeah.
again, how much of this is original?
Quite a bit of it. And yes, it has been supported and it's been mucked around by various generations, but the majority of this, particularly the roof,
Yeah.
is 1340.
I mean, this is why we celebrate listed
Exactly.
buildings, because of the history and the character that they imbue. But I meet a lot of people on Escape to the Country who would run a mile from a listed building. They are not to be feared.
No, they're not. They're to be embraced.
Although the listing is there to protect buildings such as Wellbrook Manor, they need to be lived in order to survive. And it's exciting to think that it won't be long before this historic treasure will be opening its doors to the general public. For our second property, I've got to confess that, like Alistair, I also indulged in a spot of border hopping. We're heading into Worcestershire to the village of Callow End. Although we've left Herefordshire, we're much closer to Oxford and Steve and Yvonne's friends.
Here we are. Our second property, not a bad spot, and actually, not a bad looking property.
No, it does look nice.
Looks okay from here.
Looks good.
Steve, the wheels are turning. What's happening?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I mean, give us a sense of what you make of its look and character, because it certainly has a bit more about it than number one.
Yeah, no, it's got. I mean, it's no comparison. It's got a lot more character. You've got the black and white outside. You know, you can see the old brick style cottage. You can see the new style added on, but very sympathetically.
Yeah.
You know.
Happy?
Yeah.
Relieved? Relieved?
Let's see.
Come on.
It's a slightly better reaction to our second house, which is a large part-timbered property that traded as a public house until the early 20th century, but the interior has been substantially remodelled.
Let's start with the big kitchen diner you're after.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yes?
Yeah.
That's very nice.
This is more like it.
Yeah?
More like it.
I thought this might be.
Yeah.
It's all new, it's all been done in the last 3 or 4 years. There's a very generous utility room through there, and a really nice downstairs shower room as well, should you need it.
Yeah, excellent so far.
No, it's nice. I'm not using that word nice. It's
okay.
very pleasing to the eye.
Let's go with nice. Let's enjoy the word nice and soak up all that it means, because it is nice, it's gorgeous.
It is.
You don't very often get a wow out of Yvonne, but very nice is probably...
I get the feeling we might be building towards it, Steve.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get one. Come this way.
As well as the open-plan kitchen breakfast room, there's a large entrance hallway, and off that a spacious study.
And then this is your main living area. Come right into this room, because it's quite a lot to take in, actually.
That's nice. I'm using that word again, but I love the beams. Yeah, good size actually.
And actually, you've got this
aspect, nice
exactly.
views.
The dual
Nice
aspect
views.
is unusual in a house this wide.
Yeah.
Nice feel.
No, it does have a nice feel.
Relaxing. You said earlier that obviously it was the downstairs that mattered more.
Yep.
I don't think the upstairs is going to disappoint you.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm crossing everything. You never know. You might get a wow at some point.
There are 4 good-sized bedrooms on the first floor, including a large double and 2 smaller rooms. They're all serviced by a large family bathroom, which just leaves the master suite.
And then finally, his and hers basins in your own ensuite. Nice freestanding bath in there. And then this is obviously the master bedroom itself.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah?
The way the ensuite's through there, it flows lovely.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, it doesn't look like it's stuck on the end or anything, it's lovely.
Curiously, it also has this little sort of mezzanine dressing area up there in the roof space itself.
Interesting.
That's really sweet. You could have it as a kind of master snug if you wanted to. Little sofa in there, TV. Yeah. So how are we doing?
You're doing pretty well.
In addition to the main house, our second property comes with a range of outbuildings in the grounds. These include a laundry room and garden stores, but there's also this red brick building which houses a garage and workshop, and on the upper floor, a vast loft space, offering plenty of options for Yvonne's artwork and Steve to tinker around with. The gardens are extensive. Most of it's laid to lawn, but there's also a terrace with an ornamental pond. The property even comes with its own apple orchard.
Now, grounds-wise, it's just under an acre.
Yeah.
All right. But I love that view of it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Smashing.
Now, the River Severn is just a few yards that way.
Yep.
So, it's kind of on your doorstep. So, it's an interesting property in terms of its location.
Yeah.
It's imposing, but hasn't lost its cottage sort of feel.
No, and it's not over the top.
So, let's think about the price then.
It's got to be top end of our budget. 740, 750.
740, 750, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm going to come down a little bit from that. I'm going to come down to say about 720.
I myself would expect this to start with a 7.
Yeah.
The exciting news is that it starts with a 6.
That's it.
£685,000.
Crikey.
Oh, that's good.
That is
We've gone the other way this time, you see.
Yeah, we've gone over the top.
On the market at offers around £685,000, our vast second property is still within budget. It's a part-timbered former pub, parts of which date to the 17th century. The interior has been redesigned in recent years and includes a large open-plan kitchen diner. There are 4 bedrooms as well as the additional room off the master suite. The property comes with a range of outbuildings and it's all set in an acre of land on the banks of the River Severn. The last rays of sunshine after a busy day. This is just lovely. Hello.
Hiya.
Talking of lovely.
Hello, Jules.
Yeah.
How's our lovely house then?
It's lovely. It is lovely.
But is it the one? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah. Maybe for one of us, maybe for...
Only you would find them a converted boozer to move into.
But as you can see, it had bags of space and bags of character. But for all that, it was certainly dividing opinion between Steve and Yvonne. But what about you? How are you getting on?
John and Joy, they've got £400,000 to retire with. After day one, Not sure.
Reading of the situation would suggest it was struggling a bit.
I don't think they loved the first two properties, but the mystery house, I mean, it gave them lots of space, but it also came with a big challenge. We're crossing back over the border into Herefordshire to find our mystery house and travelling to the village of Blakemere at the foot of the Black Mountains. It's 10 miles from the historic market town of Hay-on-Wye, which is famous for its second-hand bookshops and annual literary festival. Hay is naturally popular with tourists, and that's one of the things I want John and Joy to bear in mind when I show them today's mystery house, as I hope it will challenge our retirees to consider a new business opportunity here in the country. And it's not just Jules who has the monopoly on converted boozers. This is a mystery and a half, this house. It's a very old property. The oldest property we've shown you goes back to the 1640s.
Wow.
And it was a cider house, like a pub. What are your first thoughts?
That it's old. It certainly has got character in spades.
Yeah, so far so good.
Joy, I can see that you're thinking deeply.
I'm being Yorkshire.
Clever.
Well, I'm actually not going to show you the house straight away because, first of all, I'd like you to point out the beautiful garden.
I tell you what, I love that bush there. I'm not sure what it is.
It's a Chinese tree peony. You've got a fantastic magnolia.
I love magnolias.
Yes.
There's some beautiful trees planted in the garden, and you have an acre of garden.
Goodness
Now
me.
that's interesting.
But the thing that makes this a mystery is not that, but through here. Our mystery public house comes with an outbuilding, but it's one with a few strings attached.
Oh, something is under construction.
Something is under construction.
My goodness.
Now this makes this property very unique, because bearing in mind we're 10 miles away from Hay, one of the most popular destinations.
We love it.
But actually what you have here is a really substantial second property in the grounds of your house, with access from the road, and planning for a holiday let. Basically it's being sold as the sort of the planned shell for a property that you would complete. So when you said you don't like to do DIY, this is the challenge. Boom.
Massive challenge.
Well, that is the mystery.
It certainly is.
It is a mystery.
Yes.
Should we go and look at the main house?
Yes, please.
Let's do that.
The current owners of the property believe that this half-built 3-bedroom holiday let could make £500 a week at full capacity. But John and Joy are after a house, and they need to fall in love with that before they can consider the business potential of our mystery property. And there may be some work to do there too. Okay, so this is the old kitchen.
Yes. Yes.
Bear in mind this is an old cottage, and it's sort of, has been kept sort of as it was. So you've got the lovely black and white beams.
Which are gorgeous, I have to say. I do like black
And good
white
head
houses.
height.
But I think this wouldn't be the room where you'd want the kitchen.
Ah, that's interesting.
Follow me. This room, however...
Oh, this is lovely, isn't it?
Oh wow. Yes.
Yes, this is lovely. Yes.
My first thought was, this would be a lovely kitchen dining room.
I agree with you. Yes.
Actually, that could then be your utility room.
Yes.
You could put a big range here.
Yes.
And some, sort of sympathetic units.
That could be rather nice. Yes.
It would, wouldn't it?
So the thing to remember of this property, however, is that it's a Grade 2 listed building.
Ah. So
Right.
that limits what one can do.
It limits what you can do, but it doesn't mean you can't do anything.
It's a great area. I mean, the actual size of the room is perfect, really, isn't it?
There are 2 further reception rooms downstairs, a cosy living area with a log burner, and a breakfast room off the current kitchen. There are 3 good-sized bedrooms upstairs, all in the eaves, with exposed timbers, and they all share a large family bathroom. This is the master bedroom, a sort of classic cottage upstairs.
Oh, it is. Yes. Yes. Beams are plenty.
Like it. No, first
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah. It feels like a lovely little house in the
it
sense that
does.
it's got a good atmosphere,
Oh, the
hasn't
house.
it?
Yeah. And this room, definitely.
Yes.
Well, you said you wanted something different from what you've got.
Well,
this-
it couldn't
this
be more
fits the
different, could
bill.
it, really?
Our buyers have already said they liked the front garden, but there's so much more around the back. including a substantial lawn area, a summer house and a large veggie patch, 1 acre of land in total. But there's still the price of the whole package to consider. What do you think it's going to cost? Because clearly you're going to have to spend some money on it.
Well, yeah, this is our big concern, really, I think.
Well, I just almost finding it impossible, but I know I have to give a figure. For it to come into budget with the sort of work we would need to do, I think the bottom line price would need to be $320, $330.
Yeah, I probably think I would go probably with 300,000, and I know I may be a bit low, but that would give us a clear 100,000 to do the garden, the barn and everything else.
This is actually, I'm afraid, quite high in your budget, actually over your budget. It's on at 410.
I'm not surprised at that figure. I'm really not.
At £410,000, our mystery house is slightly more than what John and Joy originally wanted to spend, but does offer them a potential income. It's a Grade 2 listed former cider house, parts of which date back nearly 400 years. The accommodation includes 3 large reception rooms in all of our houses. I'm going to find out if any of them have taken their fancy. Usually at this point I have a pretty clear idea about which properties you don't like. I have to say, with you two, I have a slightly sinking feeling that you might not like any of them. Is that fair?
I think I can speak for both of us for once in saying that we both loved the third property.
Well, there's a turn up for the books.
The house proved a bit of a surprise, because as we were standing outside the front door, I thought, this is going to be so small. But it actually turned out to be bigger than I'd thought. The views from there were absolutely tremendous. How lovely to live at the foot of the Black Mountains.
Now, what's happening next? Because obviously your house is pretty much sold.
We
Seems
hope
to
so,
be, that's
yes.
right, close to exchanging contracts. I think we are going to think further about that third one. I mean, it has potential. It would be a lot of challenges and ones that we need a bit of time to get our heads around.
Do you feel that actually you want to leave Bourneville?
Yes. It's more than just a normal move. For us, Bourneville meant a part of our lives when we had our family. We haven't got all our family now, and we need to move.
At the same time, we would be very sad. So
Yes.
leaving memories behind is a double-edged sword.
It is. It's very much a double-edged sword.
We're only going to do this once, I think, so we've got to get it right now.
Well, it feels like we've given you a little shove
Definitely.
I think so.
towards the country, and that
Yes.
I hope the rest of the journey goes very smoothly.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Alistair.
So a very moving end to the journey.
Yeah, they'd held it together throughout the whole filming, and I think sitting down and really contemplating the move and everything that move entailed and the memories they would leave behind in that house was just at the tipping point.
Yeah.
What about Steve and Yvonne?
Well, a very different kind of story there. They had £750,000 to spend on just the pair of them, and we were heading to our mystery house.
Did you find a goodie?
I think we did. I think we got into classic escape to the country mystery house territory, and we had to because, frankly, our first 2 properties hadn't wowed them at all, so we had it all to do. So for our mystery, we gave them something big, something beautiful, and something that was all done.
For our final property, we're heading back over the border into Herefordshire and to the hamlet of Cannon Frome. The area has a long hop growing tradition, and in its former life, our mystery house played an important role in the brewing industry here in Herefordshire. It's packed with character and history, but it isn't the isolated property Steve and Yvonne were after, so I'm crossing my fingers with this one.
So this, I think, is the best place to really take in our mystery house.
It certainly is.
It's an old oast house. It's enormous. It's about 4,000 square feet. The only compromise, Steve, is the fact that there is a farm next door.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, but that way is nothing.
I think I'm not too uneasy with that.
Good. Let's get in our mystery house and see if we can sell it to you. Come on.
I'm relieved that Steve isn't put off by the neighbouring farm, because our spacious mystery house really is worth seeing. Built around 1895, The former hot barn was completely renovated by the current owners 3 years ago.
Now, what a greeting.
Wow.
Oh, wow!
Yeah.
2 hours!
Yeah.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yes, it is.
We don't normally sort of linger in hallways on our house tours, but this is one that's worth spending some time in because it really is the hub of this building.
Yeah.
What they have done is totally renewed the floor. This is local stay from the Black Mountains, underfloor heating, big kitchen diner. This way, madam. So, Yvonne, come on up, let's explore.
Gosh.
Yes?
Yeah, it's lovely.
You've got the boiler room through there and a utility room as well. And you've got this view, yeah.
They're all bifolds.
They all open up, exactly. So on a nice hot summer's day.
Love it.
Come on, give us a score out of 10.
Well, I used to teach and I never gave 10 out of 10s, so I'll give it a 9.
I'll take that as a 10 then.
As well as the kitchen, there are 3 other rooms off the spacious entrance hallway, including a generous study and a cosy snug. But I want to show our space-loving couple the largest reception room.
Yeah. Like that.
Yes?
Yeah, I like the open stonework on the wall. Nice feel too, just a nice relaxing feel again here.
You've got some lovely bits of detailing like this old door and so on.
That's stunning, isn't it?
Look at the width of them. I mean, that's the joy of converting an agricultural, industrial building like this, is that you get these proportions you don't get in a modern building.
Tell a few stories, that one.
Let's go and take a look at the upstairs and find you a sumptuous master bedroom.
There are 4 large bedrooms off the first floor landing, as well as a family bath and shower room with exposed brickwork. There's 1 large double, and 2 of the bedrooms have separate stairs access to 2 further rooms on the second floor of the property, ideal for storage or as extra office space, which just leaves the master.
Quite an unusual layout in many respects. Beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is,
Yeah.
Now, when we first met, you said very clearly that what really mattered was the downstairs space.
Yeah.
But this place clearly delivers over and above
Yeah.
upstairs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely. 9 double plus.
A 9 double plus. Excellent. I like that. Good. Now, this is the master because it has this very unusual ensuite. You liked open plan, you said. How about a bit of open plan bathing?
That is, isn't it?
That's different, isn't it?
It's very different. It's the sort of thing you might find in a kind of boutique hotel these days.
Yes.
My guess is that you might give yourself a little bit of a project here, Steve, by continuing these walls, maybe even rearranging the access with a door.
Yeah.
But I think in some cases you have to live in a place first before you decide what you're going to change.
Yeah.
Get to know it. Around it.
Well, I get the feeling that this really has struck a chord with both of you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The house has certainly passed with flying colours, but I'm keen to see if we'll get top marks with the garden and grounds. Although there are fewer outbuildings here than at our last property, just this timber carport and adjoining shed, there's a generous 2.3 acres of land, including 3 paddocks as well as a large lawn. So this is one of the paddocks, friendly sheep looking on, and there of course is our mystery house. And you like what you see?
I do. I really do.
So do I.
9 triple plus.
9 triple plus. We'll never get a 10 out of you, will
No.
we? But will it score highly on the price?
Yeah. 750.
Straight in at the top end of the budget. Okay, no messing.
It's got to be around that area, isn't it? I think it's 750 really. You know.
Should we agree on 750?
Let's go for 750, yeah.
I would if I were you, because that's what it's on the market for.
Right.
Spot on.
Probably got one right there.
Spot on.
Excellent. Well,
You're not phased at all, are you, by that?
no, just thinking about...
Even Yvonne are willing to go on price. It's a former Oast house, which has been...
What a week it's been with you two, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 very different properties. Now, I'm guessing there is only one real contender here.
Yeah. Number 3, the mystery house.
Why?
Oh, because it just had everything. Space, open plan. Oh, it just blew me.
There's no competition with the rest. I mean, the space is all there. The architecture is lovely because it's a bit of a quirky building, which is nice.
But, is it your new home?
Well, potentially, we're going to, on the way back, go and have another look around it, and then we'll take it from there, I think.
I think it would be a great base for you from which to launch, well, this new chapter in your lives.
Yeah.
I've got one concern.
Go on.
Well, if we ever invite our friends across there, then we're going to have a job getting rid of them, aren't we?
I think you will. I think you will. But you're going to have plenty to keep you busy in the garden.
Yeah.
Because you really can start again with that.
Yeah.
It's a blank canvas.
Yes, it is. I'm really ticking off sorts of things I could do.
Yeah.
I'm delighted that we've got you that bit closer to realising your new dream in what could be, I hope, your new home, our mystery house. Well done.
We saw 6 different properties, and in a way we had contrasting challenges, but in the end we got the same outcome. A big, spacious mystery house won the day.
That's what I love about house hunting on the borders. Whatever your budget, you will never be short of that all-important space.
And it was interesting for me because I think for John and Joy it was challenging. They really wanted this new start, they really wanted to move to the countryside, but they had enormous tenderness for their family home in Birmingham, and I think we forget that. We get so excited about the challenge and the excitement of moving away, but then we also have to think about what we're leaving.
Well, moving is rated as one of the most stressful things you can do, and we tend to think about all the hassle of packing and boxes and all the rest of it, but actually, for me, I think for many people, it's the emotional hurdle that's the real challenge.
Indeed. Anyway, that's all we have time for on this special edition of Escape to the Country, but do join us next time.
We'll see you then. Steve and Yvonne are still looking for their dream home.
And John and Joy have now bought a property in Ross-on-Wye.
If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, Wales, or even further afield to the continent and would like our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.